Good morning. Thank you for being with us on THV 11, streaming on THV 11 Plus. I'm Karen Fuller.
I am Hayden Balgavy. Meteorologist Tracy Bean back with us, tracking a little rain this morning, while Ashley King is now in the house, tracking a little traffic.
Ooh,
That's right.
Tracking a little traffic,
accident?
5 times fast.
Looks like there's something going on behind us.
Yeah, a lot of red lights.
That's Whitehall.
I know. I just said things. I'm sorry. That was my fault.
Yeah, no,
I said things were looking good.
I mean, the roads are wet, so.
Yeah, they are, and it's just still drizzly.
Yeah,
right.
well, yeah, take your time this morning. Let's look at that radar and show you what is still out there. We're still seeing some rain showers, of course, and even some storms down south of the metro. Some of those are a little stronger. We're not looking at anything severe at this time, which is good news. But there in southern Arkansas, where she was just talking about around Whitehall, we're seeing some of those storms, and those are continuing to move through. That'll move through quickly. Hopefully, we'll get that out of here in the next little bit. There's not much behind it, but still a few rain showers are possible. And this stuff in the north has pushed on again east, but we're still seeing a bit of that activity just to the north of the metro. So if you're on 57, probably still going to see some rain for a little while. Here in central Arkansas, we're getting a little bit of relief as we are going into the next couple of hours. Hopefully this will help things with that commute this morning. We'll keep an eye on it for you. But as far as those temperatures go, we're going to see that high right around the low 80s. We could see some of those storms surge back up as we're heading into the afternoon. That's going to be mainly north and northeast Arkansas. So keeping that in mind, here is the area that we're concerned about today, which does include portions of central Arkansas. That main threat is going to be some larger hail. Keep in mind, this is that 1 out of 5, but we still need to make sure we're staying weather aware and have a way to receive those watches and warnings throughout the day. But most of this, of course, should be out of here later this afternoon to see some cloudy skies. And then we're going to have mostly a rain-free Friday. And Saturday, more rain's back, but we're going to talk more about your weekend forecast because it's not all lost. Ashley, how's that accident there in Whitehall?
Hey, Tracy, it's kind of hard to tell what's going on. You can see the blur of flashing lights right here. This is on southbound I-530. It's near mile marker 31, and it says that they've got the left lane and left shoulder blocked with this accident. So just outside of Whitehall, just be aware that this is going on 530 southbound. And look, getting an overview with our live traffic map, you can see that's really the only accident. There are no other slowdowns right now. It's still very early, but the roads are wet, as you just heard Tracy say. We've got rain in our forecast for today, so give yourself some extra time as you're heading out this morning. We'll check it again coming up.
Ashley, thank you. Today, President Trump is turning his focus back to the economy, traveling to Las Vegas to promote his proposal to eliminate taxes on tips.
The trip comes as many Americans continue to feel the strain of high fuel prices tied to the nearly 7-week war with Iran. The president says Wednesday that the conflict could be nearing an end. CBS News correspondent Jared Hill has the latest.
President Trump is once again hinting that the war with Iran is winding down.
I view it as very close to over.
With the ceasefire set to expire Tuesday, the White House is signaling there could be another round of peace talks soon.
Those discussions are being had, but nothing is official until you hear it from us here at the White House. But we feel good about the prospects of a deal.
For now, the U.S. Navy is keeping up the pressure by blocking ships traveling to and from Iran in the Strait of Hormuz.
If you do not comply with this blockade, we will use force.
The Pentagon says messages like these have convinced at least 10 ships to turn around since Monday. The conflict has sent U.S. gas prices soaring in recent weeks, hitting an average of $4.11 per gallon Wednesday. That's according to AAA. Disabled rideshare driver Raul Cifuentes says it's hitting how much he takes home.
Driving a lot for very little money. It feels like giving like free rides.
President Trump and his Treasury Secretary both predict prices will plummet, but on varying timelines.
Gasoline's coming down very soon and very big.
I'm optimistic that sometime between June 20th and September 20th that we can have $3 gas again.
Meanwhile, President Trump announced overnight that the leaders of Israel and Lebanon will speak today for the first time in 3 decades, as Israel considers a possible ceasefire with Hezbollah. Jared Hill, CBS News.
On Capitol Hill, the Senate has once again voted down an effort to limit the president's war powers tied to Iran. It is the 4th time the Democratic-led measure has failed, with Republicans blocking the resolution in a 52-47 vote. There were a few crossover votes, however. Democratic Senator John Fetterman from Pennsylvania sided with Republicans, while Republican Senator Rand Paul backed the measure. Democratic leaders say they plan to keep forcing votes, especially as the conflict approaches the 60-day mark.
Here in Arkansas, lawmakers are not moving forward with a proposal tied to concerns they described as related to Sharia law. The measure failed in committee Wednesday, stopping it from advancing any further at this stage. The proposal centered on property ownership and would have required certain disputes to be resolved in U.S. courts. But critics pushed back, arguing the language unfairly singles out Muslim communities, while local Islamic leaders say they have no plans to expand or pursue real estate development.
A decision could come today on whether a new Little Caesars moves into Little Rock's Soma district, and neighbors are making their concerns clear. The proposed restaurant would sit at 19th and Main next to Edwards Cash Saver, but critics say a mostly drive-through design could disrupt traffic and hurt the neighborhood's walkable feel. Local business owners and residents also say they'd rather see locally owned restaurants in the area, while others argue a low-cost food option could help families on tight budgets.
We obviously prefer local restaurants, local businesses. Chains tend to have absentee owners that don't really take care of things as much.
I just think we're not where we need to be with this application for them to fit into the neighborhood.
The Capital Zoning District Commission is set to take up the proposal and vote today at noon. Meanwhile, access to emergency care is becoming more limited for people in Jacksonville. The city's own only hospital, closed its emergency room and several key units on Wednesday, forcing patients to travel outside the city for treatment. Unity Health says the move comes amid ongoing challenges in the healthcare industry, while local Democrats point to policy decisions at the state and federal level. The closest emergency care is now in North Little Rock, about 6 to 8 miles from the center of Jacksonville.
The time now is 6:06 this morning. New concerns are surfacing about a substance some student athletes may be using, even though it is not approved for people.
It is called MK677. It's not regulated by the FDA, but reports show it is being used for performance and recovery. Well, now schools and parents are raising alarms about the risks and the consequences if students are caught.
THV 11's Tanya Motorzitsky explains why it's becoming quickly a growing problem.
Despite lack of regulation and growing health concerns, experts say MK677 is still easy to get with just a click online or a scroll on your phone, sometimes with little to no oversight.
We have no data on using these in adolescents or younger age people. In fact, the MK677 is not even FDA approved. Most of the studies have been in animals.
Whether it's fat burners or growth hormone supplements, Bobby Swafford with the Arkansas Activities Association says everyone's looking for an edge over their rivals.
There's always, pills over the counter that kids are looking for to create an advantage. Instead of just doing the hard work on the field or in the weight room, they're always looking for that shortcut.
No matter the risks.
We know that at a young age that these supplements can have effects on growth plates, it can have effects on the heart, kidneys, liver.
Experts say more teenage student athletes are trying all types of supplements, including MK677. UAMS sports medicine physician Hamilton Newhart says it's designed to increase growth hormone levels by simulating the release of ghrelin, the hormone that makes you feel hungry. But this speeds up the process, and there's no proof it actually helps build muscle. He says some supplements contain MK677 without clear labeling or advertising.
You have to be very, very careful about reading the labels, because most of them, if they're not FDA approved, may be claiming things that they don't actually support.
For student athletes, Swafford says these trendy fads are something they're keeping an eye on. But ultimately, the rules and surveillance are up to schools.
Whether that be for over-the-counter medication, whether it be growth hormone type drugs, or even, hard drugs, explicit drugs.
If a school files the complaint to the AAA, the organization investigates and helps districts take action. He says he hopes schools educate student athletes about making smart decisions.
So where you're talking about anabolic steroids or even something that you can find over the counter that messes with your HGH, your human growth hormone, to us, that's cheating.
In Little Rock, Tanya Motorzitsky, THV 11 News.
And now let's go to meteorologist Tracy Bean and the forecast, see what that rain is doing across central Arkansas right now.
Well, we hear a little bit of a shower going through the weather garden there, and we can hear it falling. But again, most of that activity has pushed off to the east and south. So keeping an eye on that. But we are watching a storm there in Clark, and Dallas, and Hot Spring County. A little strong, but things are moving along. It's moving fast, which is great news. If you're heading into central Arkansas, we are going to see again most of that rain moving out. A light shower is certainly possible, and looking for that high in the low 80s. And we do have that risk for severe weather today. We're going to time all of this out for you coming up in just a couple of minutes.